Hello and welcome back to the Horror Himbo podcast. My name is Avery, I use they them pronouns, and I am in a hell of my own creation. There is a cat begging to lay on my chest, but I have things to do. If you hear any noises, or if you hear me going no, 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 that is my cat trying to eat my pencil. This episode is just to sort of introduce myself and what this podcast is about and what to expect in the future. Again, my name is Avery. I use they, them pronouns. I got into horror when I was like 8 years old, and I read Pet Sematary by Stephen King, and after that, I was just hooked. Bit of a personal thing, I have severe anxiety, so for me personally, horror is sort of an escape. I like to see and explore human emotions, since I don't really understand a lot of them, because I'm just fucking weird. Sorry, this podcast will be rated R. This is very messy because this is only my second episode ever. I'm very new to this. Bear with me. It's probably only family and friends watching this. Hello, Christian, Haley, all my other coworkers. Lost my train of thought. That will happen a lot. This is not going to be a heavily edited episode. A lot of the first ones will be roughs because, I'm getting into it. Again, my first horror story was Pet Sematary by Stephen King when I was 8, so, you can tell I am a very well-adjusted adult. I am 20 years old. I have worked in food service since I was 14, so, I have a lot of horror stories of my own. So this podcast, Horror Himbo podcast, I just realized at the start I forgot to say what I established to myself to be my introduction, where I say I am your local horror himbo. So it's off to a great start. Again, this podcast is about mainly horror movies. I could also cover books and games, but that is a little hard to do in episodes that should be like an hour and a half max. What inspired it, of course, the Dead Meat podcast, especially. Big shout out to Dead Meat. If you're a horror fan, check them out. They do some phenomenal work. This may be a bit of a spoof off their podcast. Nowhere near their level of production or their expertise, but talking about something I enjoy the way they do seemed very fun, so I'm going to try it out. I will try to go back to my blind spots in horror. In the start, I like to think I'm pretty well versed in horror, but I'm definitely not as well versed as most. So I'm going to go back to my blind spots, things that I missed that I was too young to see when they came out, or they were not massive names that I didn't see when I was first getting in. Like, I obviously saw Nightmare on Elm Street, but I did not see something like Seven right away. I will also probably be talking about new movies, because, we are in a golden age of horror right now, I believe. There's no way in hell I'm not going to talk about the new stuff coming out. Now, on to what I will not do. I will not cover any movies with spiders in them. Arachnophobia, Eight-Legged Freaks, nope. I am terrified of spiders. I watched Arachnophobia way too young. I could tell you beat per beat what happens in that movie. I remember every second of it, and I am mortified, traumatized by it. I will not watch movies with spiders. I also do not enjoy movies with huge disasters, but if there's other things going on, I may watch it. I will not do stuff like Jeepers Creepers, anything that is created by a known sexual offender, pedophile, rapist, whatever. I will not cover those. I'm going to try to avoid rape revenge movies. I know they are, like, something like the movie Revenge is phenomenal, and Last House on the Left is a huge part of history in horror, but fuck that. there's people that I know and love that are very deeply affected by it, and it just makes me extremely uncomfortable. Again, if something phenomenal comes out, must see, and it gets the okay from assault survivors, I will watch it. But it is not my place to talk about it. I will try not to be, pretend I know what the hell I'm talking about. Like movies that are about race issues, that are about just any issues that I am not well versed in, I will try to give my 2 cents. Like, I just saw Nope. It is not about race, I think. But, like, Get Out, I would probably briefly go over it if I do an episode about Jordan Peele, because, oh my god, Jordan Peele, he is phenomenal. I would love to do an episode about, like, phenomenal phenomenal current directors such as Jordan Peele, Robert Eggers, Ari Aster, because they're just producing absolute bangers, and I would love to talk about them and their style, and just episodes about them, but I will not try to talk about things I don't know. If it seems like I am, please let me know, and I will, take a step back, because that is the correct thing to do. I am going to try not to do my favorites right away, because movies that I really, really enjoy and have seen multiple times, I will talk about for like 3 hours, and I don't want this to be just a jumble of my thoughts. I want this to be actually something digestible and not just the ramblings of an insane ADHD-driven himbo. I mean, that's what it is, just more organized, I guess. So unfortunately for right now, The Lighthouse, The Thing, Reanimator, looking at my shelf, the movie Freaky, The Green Knight, just anything that I mention as a big favorite or something that is a staple of horror that I have seen, I will try not to talk about until I have a better format to talk about them with, because again, I don't think anyone wants to listen to my 3-hour-long ramblings about why The Thing is such a masterpiece. And I'm going to stop there, or I will keep going. Movies I just listed are pretty much my favorites. My number one favorite is The Lighthouse. The Thing is a close second. Of course, I have favorites that are non-horror, like Kubo and the Two Strings is like number 3. Freaky is up there. Favorite horror director, number 1, John Carpenter, obviously. Number 2 is Robert Eggers. Third is Ari Aster. No, third is Jordan Peele. Ari Aster is 4th. Mike Flanagan is 5th. Let's swap Mike Flanagan and Ari Aster. Sorry, Ari, your films are amazing, but I prefer something that gives me less ouchies all the time. And again, I'm going to stop there before I keep going, because I could list... Oh, M. Night Shyamalan. He is below Ari Aster, but he could produce 1 million bombs, and I would follow him to the ends of the earth. Signs, phenomenal. You could produce 1 million The Happenings, and I would still follow you to the end of the earth. Again, a little bit more about me. The reason why there is a black cat in the logo that I created in 5 minutes is because I have 2 cats. The one in my lap right now is my orange cat, Salem. She is the most vocal, so you might hear her screaming. If I ever record in my closet, she is the one that is trying to dig her way in to lay on me. She is obsessed with me. She is a rescue. If you heard any background noise just now, that is my other kitten, Pumpkin. He is 1 year old. He is a black cat. His full name is Pumpkin Spooky Boo Halloween Venom last name. Those, as you could probably guess, were going to be his first name, but Pumpkin won out. Yes, I know I should swap the name of the black cat and the orange cat, but I don't care. Salem is named after the town of Salem and or the Stephen King story Salem's Lot, which, funnily enough, I have not read nor seen the movie of. Alright, things upcoming with my podcast. Some things that are already in the works. Oh my god, my voice is going. Great thing for a podcast, right? I watched The Right, which Anthony Hopkins, and took notes about it. So many notes. Oh my god, that movie was greater than I thought it would be. I watched The Cave from 2005. Again, greater than I thought it would be. I just watched Nope yesterday, and I am still processing it, but hopefully I will be able to produce a good episode about it. I'm going to try to, compile my thoughts first, or maybe not. I don't know. I also watched The Mist with my sister, but that will be part of maybe the first episode of what I'm going to be calling the Stephen King You know what? It was a very bad name to pick, but it's the only thing that fit. I wasn't going to do Stephen King Summer because this will probably go past the summer and then it won't make sense. Stephen King Stephen King something. It's the Stephen King something. So the Stephen King something is going to be me watching every single Stephen King movie and or maybe TV show. I'm not sure, probably not. There is probably more than that I know of. And again, TV shows might be difficult for me to cover at the moment. But I'm going to watch each one mostly in order. Ones that I cannot access may not be covered. Maximum Overdrive is kind of hard to find in the streaming services that I have, but I will try my darndest because, boy, am I excited to cover that hot mess. I am not going to talk about The Shining because I don't want to be torn apart for my opinions about The Shining. Also, it is long, and I get paid by the hour. Not to do this. I get paid by the hour at work, but, I mean, The Shining is worth, $30 of my time. And boy howdy is the psychic damage that, you know what, I'm gonna stop. Because, again, I don't want to be torn apart for my opinion on The Shining. Also, it has been covered to high heavens, and there is nothing unique I could say about it. I may cover some of the really popular things that have been covered to high heaven, like Carrie, like It, but I am not sure quite yet. So The Mist is probably going to be the first one because it is something I already watched, and I wanted my sister to watch it unspoiled, and she did. Good for her. That is very hard for her to do. Up next is probably Gerald's Game and or Salem's Lot because I want to see the movie that my cat was named after, and also Gerald's Game. I love Mike Flanagan, and I want to see what he did with it, but after that, I will try to do it in order, starting with Carrie. I may not talk about Christine because it is one of my favorites, and I do not want to go on for 3 hours. Well, I guess that about wraps up this introduction. Thank you so much for listening if you got this far. This is probably incomprehensible, and maybe my last episode was, and maybe every episode will be. Sometimes I cannot stand the sound of my own voice. I am stuck with it every single day, so, who knows, maybe these will be incomprehensible, and we will die without a beta listener like men and women and whatever I am. I am still in a hell of my own creation. There is orange fur all over my entire life. This has been the Horror Himbo podcast, the Incomprehensible episode. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.